Intro music.
Come on in.
A star for the ages for Tony Gwynn, number 3,000.
They have acquired Eric Johnson and Fernando Tatis Jr. from the White Sox in exchange for James Shield.
Welcome to San Diego.
My name is James.
My name is Joey.
And this is the Brothers Padre.
James. Week 2 is in the books.
Yes, it is.
And it's a positive week.
A very positive week.
I was not expecting it to be this positive. I had my doubts.
I mean, I was off by one.
Yes.
So, yes, I had my doubts too, but it was the Padres surprised us.
Yes.
I don't know why. Because we've been...
we know why.
We've been hurt so many times, and we've talked a good game about Bob Melvin's a genius.
Right.
And we saw some of that this week, and it came through. And it came. Our coaching staff, what we've done different with our coaching staff, has come through. Not a lot. I mean, we still have some holes, but which we'll talk about. But all in all, our coaching staff has made some improvements on this team, and it's noticeable.
Yeah. Been awesome. Shall we jump into the recap, James?
All right. So let's first recap the 4-game series with the Atlanta Braves.
Let's do it.
Notably, the first game, fantastic opening start by Joe Musgrove. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a recurring theme this week with the starters. Manny Machado, 5 hits. Eric Hosmer, 4 hits. C.J. Abrams' first career home run. We win this game 12-1. It was awesome. Now, the second game was Mackenzie Gore's first major league start. He 5.1 innings, 2 runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Great job. Great, excellent start. But we lost 5-2. Mm-hmm. Our bullpen sort of gave up the ghost in the later innings. But starting pitching, very great. And Mackenzie Gore looked great. Mm-hmm. Second game, Nick Martinez, fantastic start. Only gave up a run in 6 innings. But pretty much the exact same thing happened. We lost 5-2. The fourth game of the series, Hugh Darvish, fantastic start. And our bullpen, actually, we sort of like fixed our bullpen a little bit. We won 2-1. So we ended up splitting the series with the Braves. What I predicted.
Yes.
Yes.
As you predicted.
They're still the World Series champs. They still have a pretty decent team.
Yeah. One correction, you flipped the Darvish and Martinez notes. Martinez gave up 3 solo home runs.
Did he?
Yeah, in this.
No, he didn't. Yeah. Darvish didn't give it 3 solo shots.
No, Nick Martinez did in the game 3.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh.
I think what happened was I put strong start in this game, and I think I meant to put it for the
I'm reading your notes.
I know. I'm not saying it's your fault, but you should have just read my mind. I'm just trying to say you should have just read my mind.
I am so upset I'm adjusting my mic right now.
Yeah. So the notes should say Nick Martinez did not have a good start because he gave up 3 solo shots to the...
I'm reading your notes.
You know what?
This is the one game I didn't watch this week. You were in charge of the notes. Do you see what I have to deal with, ladies and gentlemen?
Am I not correcting the record immediately? This is not some 8 months down the line editorial note at the bottom that no one reads. I correct the record immediately.
Okay. You're not the New York Times. No. You're better than that.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. Old print media is like, we printed a newspaper addendum. You're like, no one reads a newspaper.
Exactly.
Where do I even buy a newspaper? What's paper?
Exactly. All right. Can I move to the next series? Are all these notes correct?
I have thoughts, James.
Okay, you have thoughts.
I think our pitching's for real. And I think that despite losing, splitting, I think a hotter offense would make this a 3-4 series pretty easily.
I agree.
I think that it's pretty pathetic that the middle games we only scored 2 runs apiece. I think you can only do so much if basically Manny Machado's and only one hitting home runs in the series. Like there has to be something, like you can't have a whole series of that.
There's a couple of players that we are lacking the offensive department. There are a few players that have not hit well this year so far,
Right.
notably Cronenworth, Myers, and Grisham.
Yep.
Luke Voigt seems to not be able to hit.
He gets on base a bunch.
He gets on. He's leading the majors in walks, which is great. But
You didn't trade for him for his walking.
no, we didn't trade for a speed demon,
Yeah.
and who would steal bases.
Yeah.
But we traded for a power guy.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, the Abrams home run was super cool. It was like such a cool moment. First game at Petco, opposite field shot.
Family in this
Right,
ballpark.
right.
Yeah.
It was awesome. That was super cool. I think that like this series, I hope in a couple months when the ball starts flying more, it's warmer. I feel like this series would be the Padres' favor. But
I think so. I think
I don't know.
our offense is better than the way they're playing.
Yeah.
But when we can't complain the way our pitching is throwing right now.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. Even the bullpen, which hasn't necessarily gotten its footing, has had some really big standouts. Like Steven Wilson is like
I tweeted, I think we're looking at our future closer.
the dude is incredible. Had a chance to pitch in both the series. Just lights out stuff, and we'll talk about it in the Red Series. But like the bullpen is looking better now.
Bullpen is looking better. And but again, we're playing the World Series winner. We're playing a great team.
Yeah.
And this is how you win this is how you become a championship team. If you can break even with good teams,
Yeah.
maybe even win a little bit more, but you don't expect to sweep good teams,
Right.
but you beat up on the bad teams.
Yep.
Last year, for some reason, at the beginning of the season, we were splitting with good teams and losing to bad teams.
Yeah. And then the end of last year, we just lost.
We just lost and lost some more, and then we tried losing again, just to make sure we still had it. All right, so the next series,
Yeah.
we played the Cincinnati Reds.
Are they called the Cincinnati Reds and not the Cincinnati Tommy Phams?
I all I know is their owner might be one of the worst human beings alive.
Who would say that? We don't know. We didn't talk about this in other podcasts.
The Brothers Reds probably covered it,
Yeah,
but let's talk about it.
Yeah.
The Reds owner, who I can't remember his name. It
Phil
doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Yeah, anyways.
Phil sees something.
So the Reds fire sale got rid of all their talent.
Yeah.
They have a lot of really good young pitching staff.
Yeah.
But they got rid of all of their great hitters. And in an interview on the field, opening day, mic'd so the whole stadium can hear him, this reporter said, "Hey, you gave a lot of like discouraging notes on a press conference the other day. Just give me a chance to like clear it up." And basically what he said was, "Listen, Reds fans, you can either support us or we'll move to a different city." Like, what?
The oldest baseball franchise in all like literally, it is the oldest baseball franchise.
One of the oldest sports franchises in the world.
Yeah, yeah. And he just tells his fans, threaten to move.
The Cincinnati Reds have been playing baseball since the 1860s.
150 years old.
Yeah.
A long time.
Yeah. Longer than the Olympics have been a thing. The Cincinnati Reds have been a thing. It's nuts.
Yeah. And we'll tell them what happens.
So the first game,
Yeah. Yeah.
we win 4-1. Tommy Pham, who was a Padre, has been struggling. He comes up to bat, and the third batter of the first inning, fans boom, he hits a home run.
Mm-hmm.
He runs around the field feeling cocky.
Yep.
Manny Machado gets up to bat after Nola singles, hits a 2-run home run.
Yep.
Padres win that game 4-1 on the backs of a phenomenal Sean Manaea start.
Yes.
And the next game, Tommy Pham leads off with a home run. And then for the next half inning, Austin Nola hits a single and Manny Machado hits a 2-run home run. It was like a repeat. It was the best rerun you've ever seen. And off the backs of another phenomenal start by Joe Musgrove, we win that game 6-2.
Yep.
The next game, second start by Mackenzie Gore.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more offense happens.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then a lot less offense happened for the Reds, and we win that game 6-0.
Yep.
Our pitching this series looked a lot better than the previous series, but that could have a lot to do with the fact that we were playing a lesser team.
Yep.
And the final game, we were able to not let Tommy Pham hit.
Yep.
We were able to get him out. So this series was not without its controversies.
Sheesh.
The first
Yeah.
game of the series, Luke Voigt's on second base, and I think it was who hit? Was it Jerickson Perfar hit a single? Doesn't matter.
Double.
A double.
Yeah, right.
He hits a double. The third base coach sent him in.
Sends Luke Voigt in.
Luke Voigt into home.
Not exactly the most fleet of foot.
No, and he slides. While he slides, he collided with the Reds' young catcher. It was an ugly collision, and the Reds catcher got a concussion and had to leave the game. It's probably on a 60-day DL.
Yeah.
The Reds players were offended and upset by this because they thought it was a dirty slide. So much so, they even had the umpires review it,
Right.
call it to New York, and have an official ruler rule on the slide. And everything about slides, all the rules Luke Voigt followed, is just when you have a big guy trying to run like a locomotive and runs to another big guy, something's going to give. And unfortunately, and if you watch the slide, everyone said, oh, Luke Voigt brought his arms down. Well, no, because the guy tried to tag him in the stomach, and
Yeah.
Luke Voigt just sort of buckled over him.
Yeah.
And so the Reds fans have been attacking us on Twitter that we're a dirty team and Luke Voigt's a dirty player. And Tommy Pham, who...
He's like a cartoon character.
He really is. He's such a conundrum, because then he gets on Twitter saying it was a dirty slide, and he threatened Luke Voigt.
The quote is, "I know a gym owner in San Diego. I'm willing to fight Luke Voigt," inferring that Luke Voigt is going to drive to some gym in Kearney Mesa and fight Luke Voigt in a cage.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, legitimately, Tommy Pham's a martial artist. He has multiple black belts.
Yeah.
And famously got stabbed outside of a gentleman's club
Right.
a year and a half ago, and the only thing that saved his life was he was so muscular.
Right.
But still, you don't say that kind of stuff, especially because right after the collision, Luke Voigt pops, he was hurt a little bit too. He looks over at the catcher, sees if he's all right, and he gets up. He's like, "Are you okay?" And the catcher's like, "Whatever," waving his hand. It's such a... Yeah, no. And here's my argument. I've cheered for a bad team before.
Yeah.
And you sort of think when you're down, everything is an offense to you.
Yeah.
And that's really where the Reds are. I get it. Listen, I know you're listening, brothers Reds. You listen to us, we listen to you. Tell your fans to relax.
Yeah,
it's just, we'll tell our fans, listen, the Reds are a bad team and everything. They just think everyone's kicking them when they're down. Nobody wants to kick you. Nobody wants to kick you when you're down. You're just down.
Right. I mean, after the series ended as 9 in a row, they've lost 9 in a row.
Yes.
I mean, and that, like, I think I texted you is in the Red series. Like, I don't believe any of these people are real players. I didn't recognize a single person. I'm fairly familiar with most baseball players, and Reds, I'm like, these aren't real people. These are just, this is like some weird auto-generated MLB The Show names. It's just like,
yeah, they're legitimately, most of the starters are all they're
either trade away
or double A players.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, Jonathan India's injured. I mean, now the catcher's injured, and like you know, Joey Votto is like the only name. You know, and he still isn't like in prime Joey Votto.
No, and he always has slow starts.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was, the series was like, the whole controversy was just so. And I think it was if I'm the Reds, I'm using that as a way to inspire. Like I really would be. If I was on the Reds team, I'm like, listen, let's just be mad. Maybe that's going to help.
Yes.
Maybe that's
also.
Yeah.
They hit Manny Machado on the third day.
Right.
Because they took Luke Voigt out. They didn't Luke Voigt played the second game as DH.
Yeah.
They didn't hit Luke Voigt in retaliation. The 5 Red fans at Petco Park booed him. But, you know, get over it.
Right.
And also, it's like, you're from Cincinnati, you live in San Diego.
Yeah.
Don't boo Luke Voigt. Your life is better. Anyway, so, and they didn't hit him then, but everyone said they hit Manny on purpose. I don't know if that's true or not. We're playing Cincinnati in a week and a half. They might hit Voigt.
Right.
Which is just ridiculous.
Yeah, and like if you watch I mean, I encourage you guys to watch the play, and just like you realize that like Luke is trying to get out of the way of the catcher.
Yeah.
Because the catcher was in the outside lane, and Luke was like, oh, there's an inside lane. I'm going to go out. I'm going to go in the inside lane. And then Tyler Stevenson reaches out, and
once the catcher has the ball, he is then allowed to block the plate.
Right.
He had the ball because, again, Luke Voigt was out by a mile, or at least 3 steps, but Luke Voigt can't necessarily stop on a dime.
No, it was a horrible send.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been sent. Our third base coach has been a manager for the last 5 years. Hasn't been a third base coach in a while. Shouldn't have sent him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not a dirty play, and I understand how you think. Like, I understand how the Reds are like. I do understand the Reds' perspective. Like, we need to do something. Maybe anger will make us get a win, you know. But I also think it's like stupid to threaten people in our cartoonish way. Like, hey, let's fight with Muay Thai in a cage in San Diego. Like, that's like the silliest thing to like, retaliate. Like, who are you, Tommy Pham? Like, that's not a thing people say. It was just like, I don't know.
I was offended that Padre fans booed him the first game.
Yeah.
And after he came out and went, I'm going to threaten to beat up like Luke Voigt in a cage, like, boo him. Boo his ass. that's so ridiculous. Anyway, so he swept the Reds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Phenomenal starting pitching. Manny Machado is off to the hottest start he's had in his whole career.
Yep.
He hit 3 home runs over the weekend, and doing against throughout the Reds, and he had a home run against the Braves and 2 home runs against the Reds. He's red hot. Jurickson Profar continues to be our biggest power hitter.
Jurickson Profar is, I mean, Eric Grupner, CEO of the Padres, on opening day is like, how are we feeling about our left field position? And Profar hit a grand slam in the Diamondback series, and everyone's like, yeah, I mean, that's cool, but the Diamondbacks are not, you know, not a good team. But now you're like, you know what, maybe he is. And people remind, like, so in the offseason, he hung out with the Tatisas. He was in their baseball academy. He trained with them the entire offseason. And, you know, and I hate saying this. There's a reason when AJ Preller was in the Rangers organization, he liked him. I hate saying that so much because we make fun of that fact so much that he only trades for former Rangers. But he was the number 1 prospect in baseball, Jurickson Profar. and he does have tools to be a good player. And he's hitting the ball well, and he's fielding really well. Bob Melvin said is like and I mean, we'll talk about Bob Melvin here in a second, but like Bob Melvin was like, my job with Profar is to make him feel comfortable, and I just want him in one position. I don't want him in the infield. I want him in left field, and that's all Profar is doing, and he's done a great job in left field.
The third game, he threw out Joey Votto. Joey Votto was on second base. It was a grounder, multiple bouncer through the infield. Again, Joey Votto, not a fast guy.
Also, probably a bad send.
But it's also a bad send.
Well, that was actually pretty close. Yeah.
And Jerickson Profar caught the ball, and threw a laser to home plate and got him out. Great play at the plate. Jerickson Profar has been playing. He's been great. Yeah. And the thing is, what we need, like I said, Bob Melvin and our coaching staff has done great, because the one thing that we haven't talked about yet is, I don't want to actually bring it up because I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
But
do we have to bleep it again like we did last time?
No, because we have to talk about the fact that the Padres have set a major league record.
Oh yeah, but that thing we're not going to talk about, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, it set a major league record for 14 consecutive games starting the season without an error.
Yeah.
Our defense has been perfect.
Yep.
Our first baseman has been, in the first 14 games, one of the best defensive first basemen in the league.
And Luke Voigt had the one game he played first base, looked really good.
He did. But the other 13, somebody else played, and it's like, where have you been for 3 years?
I mean, do you hear yourself? We know the answer to this, but we're just not like this. Is what happened with April Eric. April Eric lulls us into a sense of this is going to be different.
Yes, but previous April Erics haven't been this good in defense.
April Eric has like a BABIP over 400, and if people are not aware, BABIP is batting average of balls in play. What that says is, whenever he gets a ball not foul, 400, 40% of the time it's a hit. That's extremely lucky.
That's extremely lucky.
That's extremely lucky.
And like I said, but I know his offense is going to cool down. But the thing that's impressive is his defense. And so Matt Williams, those you don't know, Gold Glove third baseman from the Giants in the early 90s, and from the Cleveland Indians in the 90s as well, is the Padres supposed to be a third base coach and also infield coach.
Yep.
He had a hip replacement 2 weeks before the season started, so he hasn't been able to play be a third base coach, but he has been working on fundamentals with the infielders. And it shows. He has been working very well with our infielders.
Yep. Hosmer was quoted saying about Bob Melvin and his insecurity about whether he has a position in San Diego. And Bob Melvin, the article says, but to understand Melvin's impact, consider a conversation he had with first baseman Eric Hosmer after the Padres' failed attempt to trade him to trade Hosmer to the Mets before opening day. Hosmer said, this is what Hosmer says. He being Bob Melvin, just reiterated his confidence in me and let me know that if it's up to him, he wants me here. It wasn't really anything too much in the detail. It's just, hey man, I want you here. Hopefully here now for good, and we can move forward from this, focus on the season. To hear that from the manager meant a lot because I just didn't hear that message before coming from that office.
Again, Bob Melvin has been managing for a team that isn't hitting well. He's been managing marvelously. The best example, and it might seem trivial, the final game of the season, Jorge Alfaro got hit in the hand.
Yep.
The manager of the Cincinnati Reds called for a review because they thought it might have hit the knob of the bat.
Right.
It didn't hit his hand, so they lost their challenge. So what did Melvin do? He sent Alfaro to steal a base.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Jorge Alfaro, the man's not the smallest person. And so he stole a base, and the umpire called him safe. Review shows he was clearly out, but they lost their challenge. So basically, he's like, well, we're just going to keep doing these because you can't challenge. It's chess level playing.
Right.
It's pretty great.
I think we got to talk about Bob Melvin's way he's managing. Like, I think a lot of people. I thought the Athletics switched around their batting order a lot, and I think what I realized looking back at what they did now, because I thought for some reason Bob Melvin would be super trickster with the lineup. Lineup's been looking the same pretty much.
Every
Righty
game,
lefty, yeah.
Every game has had a different lineup, but generally the order is pretty much the same.
Right. Like Nola's up on top, which has been great. I mean, he gets on base, which has been awesome.
Machado switches from third to second every game.
But I really think it's interesting is like how he's using Jose Azocar, who had a great spring, great fielding outfielder, and basically like does not care if someone's hot, aka Jerickson Profar, because he's like, this guy's definitively a better fielder than you. I don't care if he hit a grand slam. Like, Jose's coming in because he does actually get to the ball quickly. He's like Trent Grisham. He's like, doesn't slide a lot because he's there.
Yes, exactly. He knows where the ball is going to be.
And someone made a comp, and I texted you those. Like, it seems like the Padres is good developing this like really fast glove first outfielder. Manny Margot, Franchi Cordero, Eduardo Olivares, Tucapito Marcano, like those kind of guys. And Jose Azocar is like that guy. And I for a guy that was literally on no one's radar, he's had some pretty impactful at bats. He's had pretty impactful innings where he's defended, and it's all because Bob Melvin's like, yeah, I think a different manager would be like, Profar, yeah, you're staying in. And you're like, no, Azocar's a better fielder. Or anyway, how he's using Trent. Trent isn't doing well. So guess what? He's not playing all that much. Like, he's going to be just strategic with how he gets the bats. He's used Trent as like a late inning defensive replacement.
Yes.
And that's what a good manager does. It's about winning a baseball game. It's not about caring if the player plays all 9 innings. Like, it's just, that's been really cool. And seeing him, I mean, I think him managing offensive production and like him and Manny's like relationship, just kind of what you see from the outside, looks super awesome.
Yes.
Like, I feel like Manny and possibly Hosmer too are both like way more comfortable now because this guy's a proven entity. Like,
he's letting them actually be captains.
Right.
He's probably taking their input more.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's been awesome to see. I don't want to say an adult because that's demeaning. It's awesome to see someone with like
experience,
real legit experience, who has dealt with way worse teams. That's the interesting thing is like Bob Melvin has handled way worse teams to great things.
Yes.
And so it's been awesome to see him, and how he talks to the press has been awesome. How he talks about players, to players. And we talked about a little bit about, I don't know, in the Giants series, where he said about Myers. So in the Giants series, it was a Giants series? Yeah, the bases were loaded, right?
Yes.
And his spot was up, and there's a righty Duvall, and he pinch hit for Beatty. And he said, you know what? I bet Myers is offended by that. I bet he is. He's the kind of player, but he's also a good player. So he's been around the league a lot, and he's been around the league a lot. So he understands it. So he's like totally faith in the fact that, yeah, of course that you are annoyed by that. You're a competitor, but I also know you're smart enough to know the difference between being offended and what's good for the team.
Exactly.
And that's like a level of maturity that just like, oh, that's pretty cool. And how he's handled CJ Abrams has been cool. Like it's been awesome.
It has been awesome. It's been fun to watch. And
I'm not saying I'm getting a Melvin jersey yet, but there's a slight chance I'm getting a Melvin jersey.
So that leads us to the next 6 games before we do another recap episode.
Okay, James, hit me.
We are playing this weekend against the Dodgers.
Yep.
And then
Familiar with them, yeah.
we fly back to Cincinnati and play 3 games.
Do you have Monday off?
We have Monday off, and then we play 3 games against the Reds, and then the next weekend we start a series against the Pirates, and then a 2-game random series against Cleveland. So, the next 6 games, Joey. 3 games against the Dodgers, 3 games against the Reds. What do you think we're going to do?
I was wrong last week. I was being negative on the team last week. But the Dodgers are a good team.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm looking at our Martinez, Darvish, and Manaea. I think we take the Kershaw-Manaea game. Saturday game is a bullpen game, I think, from the Dodgers. I think we drop Friday night against Urias because Martinez, I think, unless Martinez has changed his pitch mix some more, and Urias always pitches well against us.
Yes, he has the best ERA of any active player against us.
Yeah, so I would say it's probably. I think we do. I want to believe the pitching's for real and the Petco effect is real for the pitchers. So I'm going to say we take the series 2-3, Dodgers, and I think we have to see. Are we going to see Hunter Green against the Reds?
We do not. We do not see Hunter Green next week either.
That's a dodging a bullet.
Yes.
So Hunter Green, loyal listeners, is like was 5 years ago was highly heralded as like the best pitching prospect in baseball. Threw 100 miles plus with consistency, but like a lot of players that young who throw that hard had Tommy John. And a lot of people are like, oh, he's dead. He can't not dead. But, he won't ever come back to glory. Well, guess what? He threw 30-plus pitches over 100 miles an hour his very first Major League start.
Yes, he's
wild.
He's wild. And he starts...
But we're not going to see him.
I believe his next start is Friday, so we're going to miss him.
Okay. If that's the case, then I say the expectation should be we have to sweep them. So I say we go 5-1.
Because I went a little negative last week, and I said, we were going to lose 2 to the Braves and 1 to the Reds.
Yeah.
And because I think the Padres are going to we always turn up for the Dodgers.
Yep.
I say 6-0.
Wow.
I say we smack the Dodgers around and we sweep them. And then we go on that high and we sweep
the Reds.
Wow. I don't predict that we have I think the Padres are looking at a win streak.
Well, we're technically already on one, so it's not. We're on a 4-game win streak.
Oh, I know, but I think we're looking at a 10-game win streak.
Well, we're to drop.
At the very least,
we're going to drop the first game at Pittsburgh for some reason.
No, but I'm saying until our next recap episode, I think we're going to do very well.
You think 10 in a row? Wow.
Yes, and then I don't predict we're going to lose any to the Pirates either. And the Guardians, let's be honest, unless we face Shane Bieber, we're going to win those games too.
Yeah.
And then we're back here against Florida. They have a pretty surprising team.
Yeah.
Not Florida. Yeah, Florida. Sorry. Miami.
Once known as the Florida Marlins.
Yes.
Now the Miami Marlins. Yeah.
Yes. So I think we're going to sweep the Dodgers and sweep the Braves, and then the Giants and the Reds.
I thought for sure you're going to read the entire schedule and be like, yeah, we're going to win that series, and we're going to win that series, and we're going to sweep them. And I thought you're going to end up being like, yeah, we're going to.
I think
152 and 9.
I think Matt Beatty is going to get at least 5 hits this weekend.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think
interesting. It's a little vengeance. A little bit of like.
I think Matt Beatty is going to smack the Dodgers back.
It's too bad Kershaw and Urias are both left-handed.
True.
But Saturday's game, he could go on a rampage.
Yeah.
I like the idea. I like revenge games. I don't like receiving it like Tommy Pham did, but I do think they're fun. Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun to see Matt Beatty go off. Yeah, it would be fun.
And
Manny Machado's gonna have a great series too. He always, he loves
Jake
Dayton.
Cronenworth always turns up against the Dodgers.
Yeah,
I think Luke Voigt will finally, I think Luke Voigt is on the cusp of hitting like 19 home runs in a row.
dude. I feel like his swing is like the kind of swing you're like one day he swings and both of his arms fall off. It's like the most violent swing. He
swung and missed in the game I went to on Sunday, and I swear I felt the wind.
It was so gnarly. Okay, James, 6-0, 5-1. Is this an early season prediction or what?
This is an early season prediction.
This is pie in the sky.
This is because look. I mean, if heart of hearts, I'd say we're gonna lose one of the Dodgers as well.
Right.
But this is our revenge tour because we dropped the last 9 in a row to them last year. I think this is our turnaround. We're gonna come out because currently we're tied for first place in the NL West with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
We're going to end this series 3 games up.
Wow, look at you.
Because our manager is better than their manager.
Yeah.
And their starting pitching has been struggling. They only have one starter that has been consistently doing good, and that's Urias.
I like it. James. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. You probably listen to us on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening to us. I appreciate it.
I'm going to post this week's episode on Twitter or Spotify links. Maybe get our Spotify numbers up.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead. Thanks for listening. Until next time, go Padres.
Go Padres.
And there it is! Oh, doctor! You can hang a star on that, baby!